Welcome to the Banana Breakdown Podcast, your inside look at all things banana ball through player interviews and game breakdowns. We're your hosts. I'm Brandon, and I like to go bananas.
I'm Sammy. I'm the life of the party.
And as always, go party animals.
Got a glove and a dream.
What a play by that kid! Oh, it's Brandon! No way! From the Banana Ball Breakdown Podcast. He and his co-host Sammy have been podcasting since the first game of the 2025 World Tour. He catches a foul ball for an out in the final game. Poetic.
You guys are outstanding. You guys are outstanding.
What a weekend. Man, there were so many things that happened. We got to go to an in-person game, which was so cool. A lot to talk about that. And we are just one weekend of games away from the Banana Ball Open. So there's so much to break down. Who's going to make it? Who's not? It's going to be fun.
And a lot of you have been wondering what our April Fool's joke is, and I guess it was being 1 minute late to start this podcast. I'm not a big April Fool's joke person. I am not. I've seen in the chat, I am not going to be wearing bananas gear. I want that abundantly clear, even on April Fool's Day. We're being serious. We're super serious podcasters, and we're going to be serious today on April Fool's Day.
Yeah, so it's going to be a lot of fun. But again, as Sammy mentioned in the chat, everyone, please leave all of your questions in the chat. We're going to be interacting with as many of them throughout the broadcast as we can. And then obviously, we're going to be talking about the Banana Ball Open near the end of it with Josh Talevski joining. So if you have any specific questions, leave them in the comments. We've got Cooper Carter here again, helping moderate the chat for us today. So he's going to be saving all of those questions so that we can bring them up with Josh at the end. So thank you, Cooper, and everyone. We appreciate it and look forward to your questions.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you, Cooper. He's killing it in his baseball season right now. That's why he's kind of been gone. But he's excited. I'm excited for him to be back in the chat. So he'll be kind of monitoring that so that we're not panicking and not getting to everyone's questions. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So here's how the live stream is going to go today. We're going to recap some of the games this weekend very briefly with a couple things, a couple thoughts, some conversations, see where it goes. Then we're going to talk about our experience in Scottsdale in person. We got press passes, got to have a ton of fun with the players on the field. And then Josh will join and we'll talk about the Banana Ball Open. That's everything about how does a team get in? Is your favorite team eliminated or do they still have a chance? I broke down all of the opportunities of how each team can still make it, all of those fun things. And then we'll have Josh talking about the tiebreakers and all that fun stuff. So there's so much to talk about. It's going to be a great live stream.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of fans right now that are sweating the Open. And so that's going to be the main thing that we're going to talk about tonight because we somehow have a three-way tie for third place. And
it's crazy.
We're all stressed about who's going to get those final two spots. And so that's what we're going to mainly focus on. But we'll answer your questions. We'll answer, how can your team make it? What do they need to do next weekend in order to still make it? And so we're excited.
It's going to be
a good conversation.
It's going to be a lot of fun. So let's start off with that. So we're going to bring up right here the leaderboard. This is where the standings are as of this weekend. So obviously Savannah Bananas are on top. It's great. That's not an April Fool's joke. Savannah Bananas are 8-1 this season. Super exciting as a Bananas fan.
Ridiculous.
But yeah, we'll talk about it possibly a little bit later, but would love to hear your guys' thoughts. But I really think that the coach's drafting strategy worked superbly well. We'll see how the rest of the season goes.
It's a long season, Brandon. It's a long season.
Yes, but it's super exciting. And yeah, we're excited for it.
Yeah, it's nuts. 8-1 through 9 games. That's crazy because banana ball, baseball in general, it's a very high variance sport. And so it's not typical to win 8 of your first 9 games. It doesn't matter how good of a team you are. That's hard to do. And so it's crazy that the Bananas are in that situation right now, being 8-1. And I just want to say KJ Jackson is on a tear.
Holy moly, yeah.
It's like he's come out and it's just the development that happened over the offseason is obvious, and it almost feels like he's a completely different offensive player than he was last year. He was great last year, but it's just he's just come alive in a way that I don't know too many people were totally expecting. Everyone loves KJ, but this is a completely new level than I think anyone was expecting.
And I do want to highlight on that note, talking about this weekend, KJ did hit for the cycle, first ever in Savannah Bananas history. And that is a super special moment. It also goes to show why the league is so important. Jake Skoll is the only other one to have ever gotten a cycle, and he's got it twice in Banana Ball. The Party Animals have historically been the away team, meaning they get enough at-bats. There could have been other times where the Bananas maybe could have gotten a cycle,
That's a good point.
and they never got the opportunity because they had 2 or 3 at-bats. KJ got the cycle in his 4th at-bat in the 5th inning, which is absolutely crazy.
The fact that he got a cycle, got hit for the cycle, and for those of you that don't know what that is, we'll just run it down. Hit for a cycle means that you've done everything that you can do in baseball, right? You got a single, a double, a triple, and a home run. So his first 4 at-bats, 4 out of the 5 at-bats, first 4? Was it the first 4?
It was the first 4 at-bats.
Yeah, in the 5th inning. So first 4 at-bats, he gets not in this order, but a single, double, triple, and home run. And so it's just it's really, I mean, it's really hard to do, but it's also extra rare because it's like it's not just hard to do, it's the situations have to be perfect in order for it to happen. You're not just, because it would be crazy to hit 4 home runs, but it's just the situation is so rare for you to get that. So that's why that's what a cycle is for those of you that don't know. But yeah, he was able to do that. But I wasn't even thinking about how KJ's the first Savannah Bananas player to do it. I knew that, but I didn't pause to consider why that's the case. Like if you only have 3 at-bats in a game, it's literally impossible to hit for the cycle. So
yeah, and so again, KJ, that was an absolutely phenomenal accomplishment, and he's been on a tear this year. But yeah, just looking at all of those things, it's really fun because now all of the teams have an opportunity to get some of those moments with being the away team. And the other part of it is it's not just about the number of at-bats, it's also the walk-offs. Because if you notice in this game, I was re-looking at all the stats, it was he got like an RBI single, then an RBI triple. They were all RBIs. If they were the home team, he could not have gotten an RBI triple because as soon as the guy scored, then the fielders wouldn't have kept going and he wouldn't have even made it to third because they would have walked off the inning if they were the home team. So there's so many interesting things with Banana Ball that affect it, and it's just a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, it's been crazy. It was a crazy weekend. The Bananas are just killing it right now, as much as it pains me to say. On
that note, sorry, we did see in the chat, yes, Joe Lytle did get a cycle on the Indianapolis Clowns in the prep season. So it's not going to show on any official stats. Unfortunately, it doesn't technically count, but in my mind, it does.
Impressive.
It was very impressive, and so it's really cool to see. But okay, Sammy, I think as we're recapping these games, we need to jump to the Party Animals. I've seen a lot of stuff in the chat talking about it, and I think it's time to talk about it more.
All right.
Do you want to start, or do you want me to pull up questions?
I just want to say a few things.
Go for it.
So Party Animals played the Coconuts this weekend. Coconuts were 2-5 going into this. They needed to sweep the Party Animals to keep their hopes alive. A split, they're still mathematically in it, but if you get swept, you're out. Like the Clowns got swept, and they are mathematically eliminated from the Open at this point. And so the Coconuts desperately needed this, but the Party Animals did too. Like they were tied for second, but it's all so close, and they needed to be able to pull off at least one in order to stay comfortable in the Open, and they just weren't able to do it. And it's something that's a little frustrating, and you go off of the high of winning it all last year, and I loved Coach Vava's draft strategy. Everyone loved it at the time, right? You bring everyone back. It was a championship team. How can you get rid of anyone? Obviously, there's guys that got drafted by other teams that they didn't draft in time. But you brought back almost everyone, and you're trying to repeat. And you're saying, you know what, there's all this talent coming in. We're going to pass on most of that and bring in just our guys. I loved it. It's great for the continuity of the team. It's great for the locker room, I'm sure. But you start to, I hope that this isn't happening, but you, as a fan base and hopefully not in the locker room, you start to wonder, who could we have picked up instead of this, And so that's where it can be dangerous, and where you are so confident being the champions and just trying to go for a repeat, and you are that's all I'm going to say, is that it can be dangerous for the locker room of having some of those doubts. And I hope that that's not happening. Obviously, banana ball is completely different than other sports, and you're wanting those guys are so close. There's things that they're focused on that's way more important than winning, and I understand that, but it's just something to think about.
Yeah, for sure. And I appreciate all of there's so much good chatter in the comments about this, of what people are feeling with all of this. And I love all of the things that we're seeing. And yeah, it's a long season.
Hold on. Biff, I love this. Banana ball opens just a seat in the playoffs. Party Animals can get in without the free pass. That's what we don't need a handout, right? We're going to get in. Maybe we won't go to the open and still get in. We don't need it. We don't need any of that.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is there's been multiple comments. I just want to highlight a few of them just in passing, of like, the Party Animals stayed the same. All the other teams shifted. And so all the other teams know exactly what to expect with the Party Animals, while they have to go figure out all the other teams. There's all of those different things that you've got to bring into it. But yeah, it's definitely hard to look at.
I just want to say it's a long season. And even with the way that things are going right now, if I could go back in time, I would want the exact same thing to happen. Because of I want that on the record, that I am still in favor of what the draft that came in, or what Coach Fava did in the draft. That strategy was awesome, and I want that clear, that I would, if we could go back in time, I would still want them to do it. It's a long season. I think they can pull it together. But it's just something that, I think every fan is a little bit nervous about, because there is so much new talent that is just blossoming right now, that you just wonder, like, what would it be like to have someone like, Ashby Binding on the Party Animals, who just walked it off against the Party Animals, or, some of these other guys that are really shining. Anyway.
Yeah. No, it's a lot of fun stuff. And again, thank you everyone in the chat. We can't comment on every single one of them, but there's so much good chatter in there as we discuss this new league. I think there's so much more that we could talk about, but we do need to talk about our experience in person at the Scottsdale games. Do you want to jump to that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. Okay, so let's bring that up. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I know the majority of I'm pretty sure our audience usually leans Party Animals, so that's probably the discussion they wanted to have the most. I'm sorry if I missed any of your comments, but yeah, I honestly kind of want to stop talking about it, because it makes me sad and a little bit frustrated. To have the high of the championship and that come out, this way, only winning 4 of the first 9 is just a little discouraging. But it's a long season. I just got to keep reminding myself that they'll figure it out. The team is awesome.
They'll get there. And then so let's jump into our experience in person at Scottsdale. So we were fortunate enough to be media to the Saturday game in Scottsdale, Tailgaters versus Firefighters, and this right here was our view from the night. We were actually in the dugout. In the media wells right there, which was absolutely incredible. There's so many fun things to talk about with it, but one of my number one things from the weekend was getting a little behind the scenes look. It was, obviously, you don't love when the players strike out, but when like the Tailgaters players would strike out and then they'd come back, the chatter between them was so interesting. Like, what's he throwing, this and that, and like just kind of going back of like, hey, it's going this way, watch out for this. Like, what does he pitch? What does he throw? Like just helping each other out for the next batter was so cool to hear that stuff.
Yeah, Indy Stanley in particular was kind of diagnosing all of the pitches when he came back, and then if I remember right, it could have been someone else, but he had a pretty big hit later on in the game, and so it was just cool to see that process of they're trying to figure out the pitchers, and it's a chess match, right? Baseball's a long game, and so it was cool to see all that.
Yeah, and we got a comment here from Amy. I love seeing how far the Tailgaters have come this year. Yeah, it's been really cool. I've been very impressed with them and what they've pulled off. I think that they had a lot of really good additions in the draft, as well as the core group from last year that now had a whole season under their belt, and now they're coming in hot. So really cool to see. But yeah, this was a viewpoint of what we got. So we got the dugout right there behind us. It was so cool, and it was just an amazing experience.
That's us on the Instagram live that we did. That was super short, but yeah, we're there right in the dugout. It was really cool, in the Tailgaters dugout.
Yeah, and then we got to pop up as well. This was another core moment for us. We got to pop up to the press box. Thank you, Brett Loftus and Zach Staten, for letting us jump up there and kind of see a little bit behind the scenes. It was so cool to see the game from that standpoint, and also to see like the game, see them, see the monitors, see what they're doing, they're calling, like the way that they produce it. Like shout out to everyone on the back end team for Banana Ball for what you guys pulled together.
Yeah, these guys are world-class broadcasters. This production team is incredible as well, and the amount of research that they put in, the amount of effort and work that they put in to call these games is nothing but amazing. And I was just really, really impressed. That it was cool to see that side. Like, I don't know if you guys saw the oh, hey Zach, welcome.
Hey,
thanks for joining. It was awesome to have you. It was awesome to be up there with you and see your work. You're an amazing broadcaster. But yeah, it was I don't know how many of you guys saw the Instagram reel that Drake and Brett posted or collaborated with Banana Ball, where they were seeing the behind the scenes of the call that when the Party Animals and Tailgaters broke the record for most trick plays in a game combined. If you haven't seen that reel, you're going to want to go on to I think Banana Ball posted it too. So just go on one of those and see the behind the scenes. But you see like all the collaboration of, like, you don't see it when you're just listening to them, but when you see the video, like, they are working together to make sure that the call is right. They're making sure that the right energy is there, and they're communicating without talking in a way that's really cool. And that's exactly what we saw with Zach and Brett too. That amount of teamwork was present with them as well. So it was really cool to see.
Yeah, we didn't get to capture it all on video, but yeah, there was some like the back and forth when they're like in this picture, in the video, they're looking out at the field, but there's a lot of times where they're like looking at each other talking. They're like trying to figure out all the things. They're like, hey, I'm going to talk next. Like all the different things, like communicating. And it was really, really cool to see. And definitely one of the top moments. But we also have a sneak peek into the broadcast that you guys did not see. We'll be posting it as a reel as well to kind of show what you guys saw in the broadcast versus what we saw. But we wanted to give the viewers who are here live a sneak preview of this exclusive video of the one and only Brett Loftus, used with his permission.
And yeah, to give it back, this
set it up.
Happens during Coach Bartman's celebration with the Tailgaters game. So it's like that the track is always lit one, Lightning McQueen says that, and then they all dance. So this is during that celebration. So
and we were standing there, and I see him like it's about to do that celebration, and I just see him like lean forward and get ready. I'm like, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I've got to film this. And so here you guys. And so,
Grayson Stadium, Wednesday afternoon. We have rehearsals.
and so he just goes on and on. I can't. There we go. So yeah, we got that view. It was hilarious, and the best part was as like we were trying to not bust up laughing, and then as soon as it ended, they get off for a second because it was, I think, the Bananas Foster or something, and I say, Brett, I got that all on video. He's like, you better post that.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Oh yeah, that was hilarious. Great, Brett and Zach, great guys, great broadcasters. It was so fun to be up there and to see that, you hear the energy in their voices, but you don't always get to see what they're doing and how excited they really are, and to see that was really cool.
Yeah, it was super fun. So definitely a top moment. And then these are just two other videos with no audio that we're going to share to just kind of give you a little sneak peek. So Brett Allen just came up to us and talked to us. A bunch of the players had done that during the game, and it was just a super cool opportunity to just stand there as they were coming throughout the game. And then Brett Sanchez, that guy is comical. He was so funny. So the best part of that is he's just out there with the fans doing all this stuff. But if you notice, he's got a bag of cotton candy on his pants, and he was downing it the whole time, talking about how many he was going to eat, and he was so funny.
Yeah, he didn't pitch the day that we were there, and so he was telling us that he was just going to eat bags and bags of cotton candy during the game. He's one of the funniest people I've ever talked to, genuinely, and so that was it was funny.
Yeah, no, it was definitely awesome to see that and see what Brett did. It was so cool to meet all the players. And then another shout out to Jordan Hussein. He came up to us multiple times during the game and just really treated us super well. And definitely, I'm really excited to see more of him this season. He is currently number 3 in the trick play department for all of Banana Ball, and that was one of his goals for this season that he told us when he came on the live stream, which was super fun to see.
Yeah, he is a really great leader for that team, and his effort to just rip trick plays as much as possible, like he said, is really infectious with the tailgaters. They're always doing trick plays, and so he's incredible. One of the funnier moments was right after the game. Coach Bartman starts to talk to us, and he's asking us about, because he knew that the Coconuts had beaten the Party Animals already at that point. And so he was like, solo second place. And we were just talking for after the game, we're just in the dugout with him, and we're just talking about what the situation is for them to secure a Banana Ball open spot and stuff like that. And that was fun. These guys really care about the league, and it's pretty obvious. And I think that just the fans have always loved Banana Ball, and the players have always loved it as well, but this just adds another element that they're just really, really excited about, and it's cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And then again, for anyone who's joining right now, we will be discussing everything about the Banana Ball Open in just a few minutes. We're going to have Josh Talevski joining us. We're just doing some of the conversation from our in-person experience. And then also, I want to get to some of these comments right now. One in particular, we had this in the chat. Jonathan Huntley. This guy is awesome. He reached out to us and we talked a little bit about it, but he has created Fantasy Banana Ball. If you've seen that, the chat has been going crazy as someone was like, hey, Jonathan, are you the one from Fantasy Banana Ball? So just wanted to give him a shout out. He pulls all the data together and created a really awesome thing. So there's a lot of people that are doing that and having fun with it. And so just wanted to call that out. And thank you, Jonathan, for being an active member of the community. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, we love to highlight, there's a lot of people doing a lot of cool stuff right now in the community. And Jonathan's doing that with Fantasy Banana Ball. And it's really cool. I want to, if we're just giving some shout outs right now, I want to shout out Biff. If you don't follow him on Instagram, you're going to want to. It's Chat Dad on Instagram. His posts with the stats and things like that have been really, really fun to look at and to study. And he has his own type of formula to measure. Okay, there it is. Chat Dad BB. So that's Banana Ball, I'm assuming. So he has his own like formula to measure how fans first things are and stuff like that. And I love that. And so you'll want to follow him on Instagram. So he's doing a lot of great stuff. So many of you are doing amazing stuff in the community. It's just fun to be a part of a community like this, people that just love Banana Ball like we do. And so, thank you to everyone that's just doing stuff. It's fun.
Yeah, for sure. And then, please let us know if you have any other questions in the chat. We've gotten a couple come through, and thank you again, Cooper, for snagging all of those so that we can talk about the Banana Ball Open. But was there anything else from this weekend that we wanted to talk about before? I have one more thing if you didn't have anything else.
Go for it.
Cool. So one other thing that I thought was really, really cool this weekend, Jesse Cole just posted a video about it, was the final inning show that he's saying this is like the first step towards being like their version of the halftime show at like the Super Bowl. And it was really cool to hear his vision about how he sees that going forward and the cool guests that they can get. But just kind of like seeing where they're going to try to carve out that niche. They've tried like the halftime shows at a bunch of these big games before. But the reason why I really, really love the route they're going right now is that when they did the second game in Anaheim, they did this immediately following the 8th inning. So it fits in perfectly with the time limit, where the time limit can go. The show is not going to impact the time limit, so it's not going to shorten the games. And so you have the full game still. You get a short 3-4 minute halftime show with some incredible guests, and then you still get the 9th inning. So the cool part is it's crazy. We talked about this when they did the halftime show before. Like, can you imagine at the Super Bowl the two teams dancing together in the middle of the halftime show? Like, that would be crazy. But that's what happens in Banana Ball all the time. And so just really cool to see. And like all the players from both teams danced right before the 9th inning, right before it gets super hectic and chaotic and competitive. They were all dancing together. And so I just love how that is another way to bring, as the competition increases, to bring everyone together and remind everyone what it's for. And so I think there's just a lot of cool stuff to be done with that. And I'm just really excited about it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. First, just got to say thank you. Thank you, Biff. Really appreciate it. You're a staple in the community, and thank you for all the support. It's funny to. Okay, what I was gonna say was we see a little bit of this with the firefighters already. With obviously the Bananas are kind of doing stuff that's like a little bit more out there, but we saw it. But the game that we went to, the Texas Tailgaters Firefighters, was a firefighters headliner, and as we know, firefighters have been Banana Ball has invested a lot of money into the firefighters headlining performance and the games, and part of that is Sam Tenez being part of that, and so he does a mini version of this where he performs right before the 9th. Yep, so it's the break 8th and 9th, and so I think we're going to see more of that in other games and stuff. So
yeah, for sure. Well, there's so much more to talk about as we get into the next part of the live stream, where we're going to talk about everything regarding the Banana Ball Open. And we have our special guest joining us. So everyone in the chat, please give out a huge welcome to Josh Talevski. How's it going?
What's going on, fellas? How are y'all?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing great.
Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, yeah. Always happy to hop on with you guys. This is great.
It's been too long. I think we haven't talked since October. So
yeah, something like that. This was overdue for sure.
Yeah. We want to. A lot of folks have had some questions about the Banana Ball Open and just kind of some of the tiebreaker situations, some of the the format, stuff like that. And so we just wanted to have a little conversation with you so you can answer any questions that they may have. So thank you for coming on.
Yeah, this is great.
Awesome. So I'm going to pull up on the screen. We have some of the details that we have as we kind of go through it. But then we can kind of break it all down. And everyone in the chat, if you have questions, let us know. But yeah, what is the Banana Ball Open and why is it happening?
I mean, we're super excited about doing this Banana Ball Open. I mean, it's really kind of unlike anything else in sports because you're just going to have this tournament in the middle of the season, but it guarantees a playoff spot to whichever team wins this open tournament. And so the top 4 teams, based on record through these first 11 games, are going to be playing in the open. And you'll see seed 1 play seed 4 the first game. The winner will advance. Then the next day, seeds 2 and 3 will play against each other. The winner of that game advances. And then you get a 2-game championship, Saturday and Sunday. And if you see a series split through those first 2 games, immediately following the game on Sunday, we'll hit showdown tiebreakers. And of course, good old showdowns is the best way to determine who gets the automatic playoff spot. So it's going to be super exciting to see how that all plays out. And certainly every game is every game once you get in the Banana Ball Open, it's pretty do or die. So you get an early kind of sneak preview of Banana Ball playoff atmosphere. So I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I love how in Banana Ball, instead of just doing a best of 3 series, I love instead of playing a third game, you just go straight into showdowns immediately after that game. I just love that aspect of the playoff situation there because nothing is better than a game 7 in sports, but nothing is better than overtime in a game 7. So why not just go straight to overtime? So yeah, I love that.
Yeah, pretty much. And the cool thing, I mean, this is kind of how showdowns always work, regardless of whether you're kind of in that playoff atmosphere or not. But, usually your best pitcher's there on the mound. You're sending your best guys up to the plate. So really, like, the series is in the hands of your best players. And that's just what makes Showdown so epic. And we obviously saw Dalton Cornette last year in the Tour Championship. He was the best batter for the Firefighters. Like, he and Logan Lacey were really that 1-2 combo. They sent him up to the plate against Danny Hosley in round 2. What do you know? Dalton Cornette, he's the guy that helps get them to that championship game against the Party Animals. So it was pretty epic.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. And it's like one of the most electric moments from last season in a crazy shift where the number 1 team got knocked out by the number 4 team and just absolute chaos. But
oh yeah,
chaos. So one of the things that everyone has been asking about, because we now have 3 teams tied in the current standings, is what are the tiebreaker rules if we have those teams that are next to each other in the standings?
Right.
Out?
So we're going off a couple different things. First of all, like the tiebreaker, the first tiebreaker would be the head-to-head record. So how every team has fared against their respective competition. So you're going to look at things like, okay, the Tailgaters right now are 0-1 against the Savannah Bananas, but you're going to look at okay, the Tailgaters went 1-1 against the Loco Beach Coconuts, and the Tailgaters were 2-0 against the Indianapolis Clowns. You're going to start to look at these tiebreakers against their opponents if you see them tied in a particular record. And if you can't decide it through those head-to-head records, we would look at which teams have the most trick plays to that point in the season. So you're going to look at the total trick plays that everybody has, which is super fascinating right now. It's not entirely surprising that the 4 existing teams before the season are your top 4 trick play teams, but that could very much change in the last weekend. You never know prior to this Tour Open. After total trick plays, we'll look at the point differential. So how many points has a team earned versus how many have they given up? How many have they lost? And if we, for some reason, were to need another tiebreaker past point differential, we would look at, just like you look at head-to-head records. So how many, wins did the party animals have against the tailgaters, for instance? If you needed to decide in another respect, we would look at head-to-head trick plays. So in that party animals tailgater series, which team had more trick plays versus each other, and so on and so forth. Hopefully that's a pretty good explanation of everything.
I think so. And I love the extra layers that are most likely completely unnecessary, but are set in stone in advance so that then if you need them, they're there. I love that.
Right. We do not want to get into any kind of scenario where we don't know. We got to come into this stuff as prepared as humanly possible.
Hey, some weird things happen in sports. There's the Sun Belt basketball tournament. Had a 7-way tie for second place, and so
Oh my gosh!
So you had to seed based off of that. Yeah. So glad that you've got all the bases covered there.
Yeah, and then I think one of the other questions that people had is that like head to head is if the tailgaters and the firefighters are tied. If 3 teams are tied, do you if it's tailgaters, firefighters, party animals, do you add up all of the wins of the tailgaters versus firefighters and party animals?
Yes.
And do the same, and then, okay.
Yep, that's how we'd be looking at it from that point. Yes.
Cool. Yeah. And then, you got the trick plays, which makes it really interesting because that shows why the tailgaters and party animals have been coming out gunning for trick plays this year.
Which is great to see. This was what fascinated me the most going into the season, is the fact that, every team, 30 home games, 30 away games, like very balanced schedule. And you are seeing truly, how tricky all these respective teams are, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are. So it's pretty fascinating to see how that's all unfolded. And you see it now that we're a month into the tour, you try and sort through all the statistical leaders in these different categories, and you just see so many more teams they're shown up in these respective categories and whatnot. Like the Bananas no longer dominate all of the walk-offs or all of the trick plays per se. Like you're seeing much more of this healthy balance, which is super cool. Yeah,
which we really love to see, and that's been awesome. And with 6 teams, the stats boards are just changing so fast because
they are.
So it's really fun.
Yeah. All right. So that is a brief rundown of the Open, but we've got some more specific questions. Tons of people in the chat have some questions here.
I wanted to start off with this one.
Yeah.
No dance off to determine who goes to the Open. What's up with that?
That wasn't something that we brought up, but maybe that's a good 5th tiebreaker.
There
Who knows? Maybe for some reason we still have something we've got to work out past 4 tiebreakers. Maybe the dance off is the proper way to do it from there. I feel like we'd have to figure out a way to stream that live for everybody. I feel like the fans would need to vote on the dance off.
Yes,
personally.
There you go.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so Jonathan Huntley has a question that I want to get to here quick. Do the Open stats count towards season-long stats?
Okay, great question. They will not. We will have a separate little tab on the Banana Ball stats webpage, just like how you can see last year. You can see the regular season statistics from 2025, and then you can look at the Tour Championship statistics. There will be a 2026 Banana Ball Open tab. Those will have the stats and numbers from those respective games, those respective series. And then once the Open concludes, all of the games after that, they'll go right back into this 2026 Banana Ball Championship League season, and we will resume as normal. So those stats will be a little bit separate from all of the rest because it's such a unique kind of one-of-a-kind, one-off event.
Totally makes sense. And I guess just as a general question, I've seen a lot of confusion in the community. Are these first 11 games preseason? You're saying the stats are together. I always thought it was all one season, but some people are saying oh, it's preseason and then it's the regular season's after the Open. Is there anything on that?
As far as I'm concerned, we're in the regular season right now. We're in the regular season. We are definitely basing the Open off of the first 11 games, but that's just as much a part of the regular season as everything else, because the records that determine who make the playoffs after the 60-game season concludes, we're going to be looking at those first 11 games as far as the wins and losses are concerned. I shared this on the Banana Ball social page in the comments today on Instagram. But for instance, the team that wins the Open could theoretically end the season with the worst record. If you think about it, they could be the sixth best. They could have the sixth record out of the 6 teams and be at the bottom of the standings. But because they won the Open, they will still get in. They would just be guaranteed as that 4 seed as far as the seeding's concerned.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. So yeah. And then it's a fight for the other 5 to get those top 3 slots.
Correct.
And obviously they want a better seed, so there's still that incentive to win. But yeah, that's that they have that safety net that they're at least the 4th seed. And so with the stats of the Open counting towards just not towards the regular season, just having a separate tab and everything, just so we're all clear here, the Open games do not count for their record, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, it's its own little event.
Awesome. So I think we got that all covered there.
Yeah. I think those are like the main things that we've kind of heard and seen. Do you have anything else for the fans regarding the Banana Ball Open that they should be prepared for?
I mean, they should be fired up because I'm over here just chomping at the bit. I can't believe that we have to take this whole weekend off before we resume playing. It's certainly building anticipation. And so it's going to be so cool to see how these last 3 series play out across next weekend. Obviously, we all know the Bananas are secure. They've earned not only a Banana Ball Open spot, but they are now the guaranteed 1 seed in the Banana Ball Open with how dominant they've been. But I mean, if the Tailgaters are able to win 1 game, they will be really secure as far as the Banana Ball Open is concerned. The Clowns are going to play the Coconuts. That's going to be the first Coconuts headliner game as well in Charleston, which is so exciting to see. But the Clowns really have to play spoiler to that Coconuts headliner series, because if they're not able to sweep, they are not getting into that Open. And then the Party Animals Firefighter series, like, just arguably has the most intrigue out of all of them. Just seeing those 2 teams with the same records, they're in very similar situations. So a sweep is obviously imperative for both of them, but it also gets very juicy if you see them split the series. So it will be fascinating to see how that plays out. The Firefighters and Party Animal series, I'm not joking. That, in my eyes, is like your series to watch come next weekend.
100%. Yeah, we even have. I went and looked through all of the potential options and ways for all of them to get into it. But yeah, the Party Animals facing the Firefighters being tied right now is crazy because it's so volatile in stats. So
I'm gonna be glued to my seat watching that.
So good. Oh yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Awesome. Well, yeah, we appreciate your time and for jumping in. And really excited to see where the Banana Ball Open goes. But yeah, anything else you have for the fans?
Not particularly. Just everybody, enjoy this weekend off away from Banana Ball as much as you possibly can. Just relax and rest and study up on everything. And until then, we will all be, every team, every player, every staff member, we will all be fired up to play this final series before we kick off the Banana Ball Open. So they should be 3 really excellent series, and we can't wait to put on great shows all across the country.
Well, thank you for all you do, Josh. You're great, and we really appreciate the time tonight.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Always, again, happy to jump on and talk with you, cats. Keep up the great work.
Thank you
so much.
See you later.
See you later.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Josh. We appreciate that. A lot of great questions were answered during that. But like we teased there, I went through the data and we have every team's path to get into the Open that we will start discussing. But let's go through a couple questions.
So there's some more questions here. I think that there's some people in the chat that are just overall still a little bit confused about the point of the Open, and so I just want to touch on that. Amy says, if it doesn't count for the standings, then why does it impact the playoffs? So she's talking about how I mentioned that the games don't count that you're playing in the Open don't count towards the regular season standings. The reason for that is because it's a separate thing. But look at the Banana Ball Open as a random playoff tournament in the middle of the season, and so the NBA has a similar thing. English soccer has a similar thing where they have in-season tournaments that happen that the point of them is not to they're different games than the actual season. So the NBA Cup happens, and so you have these games in the regular season that impact if you're going to make the NBA Cup. The winner, then they have this random tournament, which I don't particularly like because the only thing that the players get at the end, which I bet the players appreciate, is money. And so fans don't really care about it because there's nothing that actually impacts the actual season. And so these players just get some extra money at the end if they win the cup. English soccer has the FA Cup, which is a huge tournament that consists of a bunch of teams across the English soccer system. So you have these teams that are playing that are playing each other that wouldn't play each other regularly because they're in different tiers of the English soccer system. And then they have this championship at the end that doesn't actually impact the regular season of like the English Premier League. So if like a team in the English Premier League loses that, it doesn't impact their standing. But Banana Ball is doing something that is, yes, you're right. The FA Cup goes through the whole season. So they have these random games that happen throughout the season that are this tournament, right? And so the reason why the Banana Ball Open is different is, to my knowledge, this is the first time that they're doing this exhibition. A league is doing an exhibition tournament in the middle of the season that actually impacts the final championship at the end. And so the winner of this tournament gets a guaranteed playoff spot. They don't just get another trophy. They don't just get some cash like the NBA Cup. There is actual real impact to the season for whoever wins this. And so that's the difference. And so that's what they're trying to get here.
Yeah. And then also to this comment sums it up really well. So the Open results in an uneven number of games played by the team, so they can't count, and each team still have the same number of games in the records. Because the two teams on the bottom are eliminated, they have 0 games in the Open. Every team in the Open has at least 1 game, and the 2 teams that go on will play 3 games. So you have 2 teams that play 3, 2 teams play 1, 2 teams play 0. It would really throw off the standings and make it uneven, which is what we want right now. We want every team to have 60 games, and it can be even throughout the whole thing. So it's completely separate in that instance. But sorry, what was there?
Yeah, so Gary has a great point. I wonder if we were confusing the Open as the 11 games plus the tournament, when the Open is just the 4 games with the prize, but the leading games are actually regular season. Exactly. This is where I think a lot of people are confused. These 11 games are not part of the Open. They just happen to seed the Open. So the Open is just that tournament, and it is based off of whatever has happened in the regular season up to that point. But those 11 games still matter. Like the Clowns, yeah, they most likely won't make the Open. They technically still have a chance, but they most likely won't make the Open. But they still want to win because they need to win in order to make the playoffs at the end of the season. Like all of these games still matter. So, yeah. Anyway.
Yep. For sure. And so like this is part of the season leading up to it. The Open's going to be incredible. I'm so excited that it affects it. It makes these 11 games matter so much more. And like Josh said, this is a new league. And so this gives kind of a tease of what the championship is going to be at the end of it. And so it's really, really exciting to see. But yeah, I think if you guys have other questions about it, please let them flow through. We're going to jump into breaking down each team and their chances to get into. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, Amy it's just funny. It just made me laugh. Instead of the open, I'm calling it the ajar. Yeah, we want
awesome.
the best teams in the championship playoffs. So we're hopefully, this kind of answered some questions. I know people have mixed feelings about this whole thing, and that's okay. They're just trying things out, and that's what's fun about Banana Ball is how experimental it is.
Yeah.
And I personally love it. I think it's really fun. Maybe I'll have a different opinion about it if the team that wins the Open is, ends up being 6th place and Party Animals were 4th and they get booted out because the Open steals a playoff spot. But that's just a personal thing that I would have to worry about. But I think that eventually, when we get to there, the team that is capable of winning the Open most likely is going to make the playoffs anyway.
Yep.
And so ultimately this is fun, but it probably won't matter. There will be some seasons where it does, but most likely the team that can win the Open would be one of the top 4 teams anyway.
Yep. Yeah, so it'll be fun to watch and fun to see how it all goes. But let's jump into this. So I spent a lot of time pulling together every team's path to the Open. Every team still has a chance to make it in. Obviously, you can see the standings board. The Clowns have the hardest time getting in. The Tailgaters have the easiest time. But let's go through each one, starting with the Texas Tailgaters. So the Texas Tailgaters, if they win one game out of the 2 left, they get 6 wins. They're immediately in the Open. That's a guaranteed spot. Then if they can't win either of those games, but either the Firefighters, the Coconuts, or the Party Animals lose both games, that team will stay at 4 wins, and then the Tailgaters will go in. And then it gets into the crazy math there, where if the Tailgaters lose both and stay at 5 wins, and some of the other teams win some games, there could be 3 or 4 teams tied at 5 wins, which then gets into the fun math that Josh was talking about. And Sammy, you're not going to want to see this, but based on that scenario, the Party Animals would potentially be eliminated based on their head-to-head record with those teams. But this is all a quick snapshot. It could be 3 teams or 4, so there's moving parts within that. But the Tailgaters could move forward in that scenario. So these are going to be really fun to kind of see. But the Tailgaters have the best chance. They performed very well, and they'll most likely be in the Open.
I would be shocked if the Tailgaters don't make it, especially with how they're playing right now. But I mean, they have to play the Bananas, so that's hard.
Yeah.
But just win one, and you're pretty much you're in. So.
Yep. And then moving on to the next one, this is the really interesting one for the Clowns. The only path they have to getting in the Open, they have to win both games, and then they need either the Party Animals or the Firefighters to sweep. So if they can sweep the Coconuts, then they and the Coconuts both have 4 wins. And if the Party Animals or Firefighters can beat the other team, then the other team will be stuck at 4. So you'll have 3 teams tied at 4, and then it goes to those tiebreakers with the head-to-head matchups, which the Clowns are actually favorable in, which is kind of crazy. So They do have a chance. It's very slim based on how the teams have how it's gone so far. But the Clowns are still in it. They have a chance to make it. So this is fun.
So I was wrong at the beginning. I said the Clowns were out,
which I think I led you astray on that.
It's very, very slim. But the Clowns could make it. But so let's say the situation is Clowns sweep the Coconuts, Party Animals sweep the Firefighters. It would then be it would be Bananas, Tailgaters, Party Animals, Clowns.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I can get behind that.
So in that instance, the Coconuts and the Firefighters would be eliminated if that all worked out. So it's pretty fun. So let's go through the other ones really quick. Party Animals, if they win 2 games, gets them up to 6. That's a guaranteed spot. If they win 1 game and the Coconuts lose both, then the Party Animals will also get a spot.
That's the situation I just said, right? Yeah.
Yes, because then those 3 teams are tied, and then they figure it out.
So that's those are the only 2.
Only 2 ways. So that if they have to,
they got to sweep.
Because if they win the 1 game, and then the other teams win all the other things, it gets into those tiebreakers. And at least I need to go back and look at it again to see if there's any other, like, there's so many different matchups, but like in the matchups I've looked at, they're not favorable in. So
it's not great.
Not looking great in that instance. And then the Firefighters, very similar. They win both games, they're guaranteed a spot. If they win one game and the Coconuts lose both, they get in. And then if they win one and all the other shenanigans happen with the league and we get to that same scenario with the Tailgaters, they're currently looking favorable from my calculations of the head-to-head matchups, but we'll wait to see what the official head-to-head calculation ends up being. And Coconuts are similar. So all of these teams need to sweep. That is their best chance to get into it. And so the Coconuts, if they win both games, they're guaranteed. If they win one and the Firefighters or Party Animals get swept, they're in a good spot. And then on with all of the tiebreakers. But the most fun of all of this is
oh my gosh,
the Bananas are locked in with 8 wins. They're guaranteed in the Open, and they are also the number 1 seed. So it's a fun time to be a Bananas fan. Just hoping that there's not some heartbreak.
What happened last time they were the 1 seed?
I know, that's my concern. And thank you, Biff. I am a nerd, and I agree with that.
There's a lot of people in the chat that are not happy that the Bananas have locked in a spot, and I agree. Come on.
Yeah, we've got a lot of Party Animals fans, and it's a good thing. So, but
How does that feel to know that every week the majority of the people, I don't know if it's actually the majority, it's just at least there's a vocal group in the chat. How does it feel to know that the chat usually
is against me?
Yeah, is against you.
I mean, it personally, it doesn't feel great, but for the growth of Banana Ball, I think it's a good thing. But I do want to pull this up. Jonathan Huntley asks, is there anyone here not rooting for the Party Animals? I feel like I'm all alone. Well, Jonathan, you're not alone.
Okay, yeah.
And let's see what other people say.
So Gary says
put your team in the chat.
And the Firefighter fan. So yeah, everyone. Okay.
Everyone, put your top 1 team or 2 teams.
Yeah. Spam
even
the
if
chat
they're Party Animals
and say who your favorite team is.
We're gonna do this right now.
This is for science.
For science, we're gonna go through and we're gonna click on every comment. And we're gonna see what the leaders is.
Everyone, wait, are we actually gonna? I can't. I'm not gonna be able to.
We're gonna have to talk about something else for a minute to let all of this go in. And then we'll kind of do some calculations. Okay. Ooh, and then we've got people like JM Powers. Thank you for always being supportive. I don't have a favorite team. That's great. That's the beauty of Banana Balls. You don't have to. But yeah, this is fun to see. But yeah, as of right now, there's just a lot of Party Animals fans, but it's good to hear that there's some other fans in there. I will say, I think we have a lot of members of the community who are Firefighters fans.
Yeah,
I've been shocked by when I posted the graphics on Instagram, which we've been posting every week, the player leaderboard, the team leaderboard on Instagram. So if you want to see those, definitely go follow us there. But when we posted it and it's like Jared Donaldson's at the top of the pitching or Bradford Webb, both Firefighters, like there were a lot of like comments and shares about them and excitement about the Firefighters. And when the Firefighters lost their first 3 games, and then when they won and we posted those graphics, there was so much support for the Firefighters there.
Yeah, there's a lot of Firefighters fans, which makes sense. There's a lot of people that have loved ones that are firefighters, a lot of people that are firefighters. Everyone also just people love firefighters. My boys get so excited whenever we see a fire truck, and so, but interestingly enough, they aren't huge Firefighters fans. So, they're randomly, my oldest, his favorite player is Sunshine Looters, which makes sense. But shout out to Sunshine for taking a video with me this weekend so that I could send to him. That was really nice. But my middle kid, for whatever reason, his favorite, he's only watched 1 Clowns game ever because it was when the Party Animals played the Clowns, but he loves Bobby Leday. So that's his favorite player. So hopefully you can meet him someday. Anyway.
For sure. Okay. I think we have enough time. So we're going to go through this and see what we have. Okay. So we've got, this was what started it all. We've got Gary, I am a banana.
Oh, you're really doing this. You're
I don't
really
know.
counting. Okay.
Should we
Sure. We said it was for science, so we're gonna do this live.
Okay, so we got
So
two
let me throw them up so that you can just count. So this will make it go faster.
Okay.
Okay. So we got. Oh, that was why you were doing it,
yeah.
because the monitor is hooked to this other monitor, so we really only have one mouse.
I will do it on my phone.
I said to myself today, I never use my computer during the podcast. Actually, I didn't just say this to myself. I said this to my wife. My wife said, "Do you need a computer tonight?" I said, "I never use it for the podcast." And now look, it would have been really nice if I would have brought my computer. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Always listen to your wife. She's very smart. All right. Okay, we got coconuts.
Okay.
Party animals and coconuts. Party animals. Bananas.
Yeah, let's go.
Cooper says firefighters and clowns. Party animals and firefighters. Party animals. Party animals. Bananas and coconuts. Party animals.
1 second.
Oh, sorry.
Bananas,
I'm going too fast.
coconuts. Party animals again?
Party animals.
Of course. Party animals are in the lead, everybody.
Party animals and firefighters.
Okay.
Party animals. Firefighters.
I shouldn't have done this to myself.
Okay, we've already counted Gary's. So party animals, firefighters, and Loco Beach coconuts. I'm cheering for anyone not the bananas, not anti-bananas, just excited for the whole league.
Do I have to give one to everybody but
everyone.
the bananas?
Yeah.
No.
All right. This is okay. Party animals. Okay, so we'll just give Biff's top two, party animals and clowns, but he gives his entire ranking, which I am shocked that the tailgaters are at the bottom and not the bananas. I'll need to.
You'll have to get the story behind that.
We'll need to get the story. All right, I'm counting this one. I have tickets to see the party animals, not the other teams. So that counts as party animals.
This is so fun. Thank you, guys.
Party animals.
Okay.
We'll count top two in this order. So party animals, coconuts. Bananas for Joel.
It's been a while. Thank you, Joel. That might be it.
All right. Party animals. Just had to throw that one up there.
Okay.
Okay, I think we.
Here we go.
I think we got one. Okay. Yep, we got it.
This is just from the quick.
Obviously, there's people watching that aren't in the chat, but
100%.
This is what the chat says.
So in last place, tailgaters had one vote, and that was the vote for everyone.
That is weird.
That's very weird because
I'm starting to love the tailgaters.
Same here.
I mean, just interacting with those guys has been so fun, and so yeah, I'm pretty shocked by that.
I love this, Gary. Unscientific polls. Let's go. Then in second place is the clowns with 3. Then in third place, bananas with 5. Fourth or second place. Whoa, I'm way off. Fourth place, bananas with 5. Third place, coconuts with 6. Second place, firefighters with 7. And then at the very top, party animals with 16. Absolutely blew every other team out of the water. So Sammy's inkling about there being a lot of party animals in the chat was correct.
It's fun. Yeah, it's
thank
fun
you
to
guys.
have all that. So yeah, thank you everyone. And I just want it to be clear. Yes, I love the party animals, but if you are a fan of any team, you are welcome in this community. We talk about everything. We talk about Banana Ball in general. I talk to this guy all the time, and he's a Bananas fan. So I have nothing against Bananas fans.
Yes, and that's one of the things where Sammy and I have our primary teams as the Bananas and Party Animals, but we are excited for the growth of Banana Ball as a whole. And like Sammy said, I'm in the same boat. The tailgaters are really they're pulling me along a lot. Like, I'm really excited about the tailgaters. I've been such a huge fan of the Coconuts this year with the vibes. All of the teams are impressive, and even though I'm a Bananas fan and not necessarily a Party Animals fan, I love what those guys do. I love how they pulled off the championship. The game of Banana Ball is better because of all of the teams in here. And yeah, we will always welcome anyone who's a fan of any team.
Yeah, and I just want to bring up, I saw while I was going for whatever. Okay, Gary. Yeah.
Aren't you family? So you need to talk. Yes. Technically.
Yeah. I have to see him at every family function. Yeah. So a lot of people, I don't know how it got brought up, but a lot of people were talking about Chief, the Bat Dog. I had an exclusive interview with Chief during our time this weekend at the game. So you want to go look on Instagram for that. It was we got deep. You know, me and Chief talked about some, you know, what's at the heart of why he does what he does, you know, and so you'll want to go look at that reel. It's a pretty good interview, I'd say.
And from the Banana Ball man himself, Rex Castillo, he said that it was capital J journalism.
Yeah.
So it was a great interview. But yeah.
I take my job very seriously as a journalist.
And if you guys are not following us on Instagram, seriously, there's so much that we post there. We're kind of at this point, there's not as much we can do with that on YouTube. And so we're posting a lot of the graphics. We're posting a lot of those interviews. It really works well because that's where a lot of Banana Ball players are, and we can be able to collaborate with them and all of those things. So the live streams will always be here on YouTube, but the Instagram is a huge piece for us, and there's a lot of stuff that's there that you won't find on this YouTube channel. So at Banana Breakdown Podcast, a lot of stuff there, especially from this weekend. Sammy, we posted his interview with Zach Staten. We posted his post-game interview with Brett Loftus.
Which I apologize for. That audio is...
That was on me, but...
Oh, okay. I was going to take the blame, but...
no, it was on me.
It was Brandon's fault.
I set up the mic for Sammy to do the interview, and the audio did not go through.
Yeah, but you can still hear it. Brandon put the captions on. It's a good interview. But yeah, I had an interview with Brett and with Zach, and so... And then we have a bunch of other stuff too. We got a lot of other interviews with players that we're kind of working on compiling into. We asked them specific questions. You know, we're busy. We'll get it out eventually.
And it's also going to be nice because we've been putting a lot of effort into the graphics for the standings, and so with there not being games this weekend, we don't have to post the who won graphics. We don't have to post the standings, and so we're going to be able to get more of those interviews out this next week. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun to see what comes next. But we appreciate all of you guys being here and staying for the whole live stream. It's been so much fun to chat, and we will do this again next week. Every week we do this, and we go live and talk about Banana Ball and why we love it so much. And so we appreciate you guys being here.
Thank you. We couldn't do this without you guys, so we really appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, everyone, you have a great night, and we will talk to you again next week.
Go Party Animals.
See you guys.